The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Dylan Riola, the doctor, the Polynesian Bowl. He had a lot of throws. He made a couple nice throws. He threw outs. He threw a deep dig. He threw a slant that went to the house. There were so many different passes that we saw him. And he's got a little quick twitch. Is he fast? No. Quick twitch? Yes. It was good to see him moving around. Listen, he connected with, guess who?
Carter Nelson.
Thank you. We got a chance to see Carter twice. It was good for me to watch that because I think that's a precursor of wisdom.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through January 30th is $2 off steakhouse burgers and buy one Urban Slicer Pizza Works dough, get an Urban Slicer Pizza Works pizza sauce for free. Don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan show here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I am joined here today by Joseph Meyer.
Yes, sir.
The senior sports editor at the Daily Nebraskan, the independent student newspaper at UNL. So we want to start off with men's basketball talk because that's kind of been all the headlines recently here on UNL, on UNL's campus. They lost pretty badly to Maryland on Saturday. It was a rough game.
Wasn't great.
No. It was a rough game to watch if you were a Husker fan. A lot of turnovers. Couldn't rebound. And just other
whole load of issues.
And just other stuff that just makes you scratch your head when you just see it.
Yeah. It was not a fun game to watch, regardless of the outcome. Similar to the Rutgers game where it's just ugly basketball from start to finish. I guess I won't say start to finish. It was a hot start.
Yeah.
I know you guys touched on it last night, so we won't go too deep into it, but yeah, I'm just it seemed like a big drop off from where the momentum of this team was going. That felt like a game that they could really overturn their woes on the road, and it didn't happen. And now you're set up in a situation where you have 3 really, really tough matchups coming up here and not a lot of turnaround in between.
Yeah.
two ranked teams, a Northwestern team that has had your number in the past. You beat them this year at home. You go on the road to Evanston. That could be a tough matchup.
Mhm.
Illinois just lost there last week. Other big name teams have lost there. It's a place you don't want to run into boo-booey over there. So a brutal loss on Saturday for Nebraska at Maryland. To come back this week, the urgency has instantly heightened for this team. I think they drop significantly in pretty much every metric. The bracketology came out today. Again, not end all be all of who's getting in the tournament. They're in it, but they dropped from a pretty solid 9 seed
like 8 to 9,
a last 4 in, and they lose the next 3, and they're going to drop out of that field. There's still opportunities to get back into it with games down the road, but we've discussed this at length over the past couple weeks. Of now is the time to strike, because you don't want to be getting into that Big Ten tournament with a need for wins. They can help. You need to be locked in before the Big Ten tournament, because we've seen Fred Hoiberg struggle. Fred Hoiberg coach teams struggle mightily. Even a decent team last year struggled with a really bad Minnesota team in the Big Ten tournament. So this next week is huge. Yeah. You set yourself up for failure by losing to Iowa, Rutgers, and Maryland.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do at home. We won't count them out at home. We never will.
Nope.
So a big home game this week, Thursday, against Wisconsin. A chance to, again, failure on the road, come back with a big chance to turn it all around against Wisconsin. I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think Nebraska has a great chance to win it. Regardless, we're going to see some talented players and a Wisconsin team that's now number 6 in the country in the AP poll.
Yeah, I mean, road games have been rough. You don't have to be a basketball expert. You can just look at the record for Nebraska. It hasn't been pretty. Only complete road game that Nebraska has played so far was Kansas State, which was really early in the season when they beat Kansas State. Every other game is just, they have not played a full game. I threw this question to Anthony Marissa, but I want to also get your thoughts on it. So obviously this next stretch is probably the toughest stretch of the regular season for Nebraska, in my opinion.
100%.
Wisconsin at home. Well, it is at home, so that helps, but it's still a really good Wisconsin team.
A team that's peaking.
Yeah. So Wisconsin, a ranked Illinois team on the road. I think that's the toughest out of these next 3. And then Northwestern on the road, a team you barely beat at home. So let's just throw it out there. If Nebraska were to drop 0-3, drop all 3 of these next 3 games, where is Nebraska then on the outside looking in for NCAA tournament? Do you feel like they're just right on the edge of bubble? Where what would your thoughts be?
I don't think they're going to get hurt too much by losing to Illinois on the road. So that's kind of the one where that's, I think, the least urgent.
Yeah.
You're not going to get killed for losing to Wisconsin at home, but Nebraska is kind of known now as a team that can only win at home. So you got to get those done. So this one can really help the team, not hurt the team a ton, but it can hurt. That Northwestern one will be huge because those are 2 bubble teams at that point. If Nebraska were to lose to Wisconsin and Illinois, which they will be pretty significant underdogs in both, that Northwestern game is 2 teams on the bubble that are probably on the outside looking in. At that point, the winner could be in that last 4 in conversation, depending on obviously what Northwestern does over the next week.
Yeah.
I think if they drop all 3, you're in a spot where you can't lose another one.
And they're probably not going to win the rest after, these 3.
Right.
Even though it's the strength of schedule gets really easy towards the end of the season, you're still probably not going to win. You
still have Michigan on the schedule. You still have another Rutgers game,
which are very winnable.
Very winnable games. Need to be wins. You can't drop any of those at this point.
See, that's the one thing. So I feel like if Nebraska wants to be locked in to the NCAA tournament before the Big Ten tournament, they need to get at least 2 of these next 3, in my opinion. If they want to still be in very good position to make the NCAA tournament, I think they need to get 1. Because after these next 3, you don't have a game left to boost your resume.
No.
It's nothing. So all the rest of the season is trap games. Because even if you win, it doesn't push you up that much. I mean, if you win all the rest, that'll push you up. Like you're going hot into March, so that'd help. But they're probably not going to win all of them. but like it's all just trap games because a loss to any of those is going to hurt you way more than a win.
You take a loss to Michigan or Rutgers at home, and the committee is not going to enjoy that, especially if you had just come off an 0-3 stretch.
Yeah, I mean So like I know the strength of schedule towards the end of the season is easier, so that like still keeps me hopeful that Nebraska really only needs to get one of these next 3, but it's all trap games because you just know Nebraska is probably going to drop 2 of those in the final stretch. I mean, you just like
it's very unlikely that they finish 7-0 after dropping.
The
next 3. So I think, like I said before, I think this Wisconsin game is pivotal. I think it's an excellent opportunity to really solidify your resume. You win this one, that's another top 10 win. It's a chance to get a win over a team that's looking ahead. Wisconsin has Purdue on Sunday at noon. So they have a 48-hour turnaround essentially for the number 2 team in the country. And that's a game that could decide the Big Ten regular season.
Yeah.
And a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Wisconsin in a position now where they have been extremely hot in the month of January. Just dismantled Michigan State last week, 81-66. They have a week off. They come to Lincoln, one of the most dangerous places to play in the Big Ten. And then they go back home and get Purdue at home, on Sunday. So you're in a spot here where you have a chance to do something that hasn't been done in a long time, beat 2 top 10 teams in the same season. Yeah. I'd have to go back and look.
I think when I saw it was like 2013, 2014 is what I thought I saw.
So
last time they did that.
You've got to get it done now. Wisconsin's peaking at the same time, like I said earlier. 8-1 in the Big Ten, but 3-3 on the road.
Yeah, I mean,
which has been a trend all season in the Big Ten.
Every team.
We just saw Iowa lose on the road to Indiana tonight. Iowa's a pretty good team at this point. Nothing crazy, but Indiana's definitely not in the tournament field as of now.
Solid team.
They go on the road, lose to Indiana. Michigan lost to Michigan State on the road. That's not a surprise. Michigan's terrible. Juwan Howard should be fired in the morning. But yeah, Wisconsin, 11th in both the KenPom and the net, and they're higher in the AP poll. They jumped up 7 spots this week to 6.
Yeah.
So this is a really, really exciting matchup if you're Nebraska, where you have an opportunity here to do something special.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Nebraska's got nothing to lose on this next game, but I do want to address the text on the text line. It says Nebraska is not making the tournament unless they win them all.
The next 3?
I that's what I'm guessing. I feel like that's not true.
If you want to say, I mean,
I just losing to Illinois on the road is not really going to hurt you.
I think
it's just not.
I don't think that one will hurt as much. Although I will say I wouldn't put anything past the committee. We've seen the Nebraska team that had a really solid resume get left out of the tournament before. I think then you're saying though they need to win out to make the tournament, and if they won out, they'd be like a 6 seed. So yeah, I would disagree with that, but
because let's just say they only they drop all the next 3. They drop the next 3, do pretty decently towards the end of the regular season. All it takes is a Big Ten run in the Big Ten tournament, and you'll make it. So I mean, I like this next stretch is important, for the if you really want to be locked into the Big Ten tournament, but it's not. These are not make or break games for the season, in my opinion.
I would agree. I would agree with that statement.
I would say Northwestern is probably the most gettable. I actually feel pretty good about Wisconsin. I feel the best about Wisconsin.
And I want to talk about that in a bit.
Yeah,
as well.
So we're gonna that's what we're gonna go here. We want to preview Wisconsin. The reason I'm feeling confident, Nebraska's at home. And according to the Peacock announcers, if the NCAA tournament was played in PBA, they'd win the national championship. So that's one reason I'm feeling really
world, but yeah,
I'm feeling really good because of that. And then B, Keisei Tamanaga has had 2 straight dud games.
You can't have 3 in a row.
It's not going to be 3 in a row,
right?
No, he's going to probably have 28 in this next game.
28.
I'm gonna guess 28.
When was the last time he even scored anywhere close to that? I don't think he has in a long time. But
probably, I think it was Indiana. I would guess Indiana.
It's okay. So Wisconsin is very dangerous.
Yes.
I am looking at the tape. I'm very impressed. This is a very, very balanced team. They're not like some of the teams that Nebraska's faced in the past where it's just one guy. And if they can keep him off the board, they're going to win the game. don't need one guy to do it at all here. So they've got a very experienced roster. This is a team that's been to Lincoln before. They've lost in Lincoln before. A lot of these guys are returning players from 3 years ago even. Nebraska's had Wisconsin's number at points over the last 2 years. And so they're used to losing to Nebraska, and I'm sure they don't like it, especially Chucky Hepburn, which I'll touch on in a bit. But especially at the forward position, they've got a lot of experience, a lot of depth. These guys have been playing with each other for years. So, like, they bring in some new pieces this year. And remember last year, this is a team that severely underwhelmed expectations. Was not a good, that loss to Nebraska was, kind of the nail in the coffin for them. Not at all what they wanted. They bring in a couple nice new pieces. We reworked the roster, and they have completely turned it around. Interesting note I found, they're one of the slower paced teams in the country when you kind of look at the.
And when they played Nebraska, it didn't seem like
no. And that's what I want to talk on, because it seems like all of these slow paced teams
just lined up. Maryland.
Right.
They're not real slow paced, but was not a team.
But
they weren't a team that I was expecting to have them run us out of the gym.
No. So they have the potential to do that. We've already seen this matchup before. They've got so many ways to beat you.
It was on the road, though.
On the road. Different guys are able to step up to the plate every single time. We saw it in that game. Connor Sejan goes off, shooting some ridiculous, like, Kisa Tominaga type threes. I want to get your thought on something. So Wisconsin, their top option, clearly AJ Storr, sophomore guard, transfer from St. John's last year, has elevated this team to the next level. He's really been the missing piece that they didn't have last season. He's getting them 16 points a night, and that's 16 points. They didn't have that production coming last year. He's, kind of helped the burden of Chucky Hepburn this season, where Chucky doesn't need to be that guy. Chucky's taken a lot less shots. He's been more efficient, more of a distributor, more of a facilitator of the offense, and Storr's been the scorer. He had 28 points last week against Michigan State, and when they absolutely housed Michigan State last Friday.
Yeah.
So he's got the potential to go off. But I want to get your thought on something, because if I'm Nebraska, it's not him that concerns me.
Okay.
If you look over the last couple of weeks, Nebraska's had a pretty good game plan for the number one guy.
Yeah. Edie.
Boo Buie.
Young.
Jameer Young, who was held below his scoring output.
He didn't shoot very well.
Shoot very well. Assists and rebounds is another story. If you look at the numbers there, he still contributed in a big way, but they kept him below his scoring.
There's not much you can really do about
12 points when he's averaging 20 points.
Yeah.
So they've done a good job of getting to that number one guy. Boo Buie had a rough night. We know that Edie had a tough time. And even last time Wisconsin played, AJ Storr only had 10 points. He wasn't the guy that really was pushing the needle for Wisconsin in that game. But last week, I was concerned about some of these bench guys coming off the bench, shooting lights out against Nebraska, as clearly every team does, especially on the road.
Even Maryland, one of the worst three-point shooting teams.
Even Maryland, one of the worst three-point shooting teams.
When the show before said, if we lose to Maryland, if Nebraska loses to Maryland, it's not going to be because Maryland shoots us out of the gym.
And they did.
But yeah, we don't have to bring that up.
Like, I was actually in shock.
I was too.
When they went up 12-2, I'm like, there's no way that Maryland, because Nebraska was shooting lights out. I think four players
they shot
in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, there's no way Maryland is going to be able to keep up with us. And then a couple guys, I said to watch for Jahari Long. He was a bench guy who was getting hot from deep at the time. He had 11 points in that game. And then Jamie Kaiser comes out of nowhere. He had averaging 1.9 points per game.
Maryland's bench only was averaging 7 points a game is what the broadcast is saying. And they had 2 guys over 10, in double figures.
And he has 14. He hadn't scored a point in nearly a month. In a month.
And of course, it's against Nebraska.
And it's against Nebraska. So that's been the concern. And that game is okay, that was pretty bad. And you start to think about dang, some of these bench guys have really had career nights against Nebraska. So I was looking into it. Last matchup with Wisconsin, Connor Sejan, 12 points in 13 minutes. He'd really been struggling to find rhythm. He found rhythm at Nebraska. You think, he can carry it on. He's averaging 3.5 points per game on the year. He had 12 against Nebraska. Against Purdue. If you remember this, Mason Gillis, a forward.
Yeah.
16 points. Shot lights out from deep. He's averaging 6.5 points on the year. Bench player. Against Iowa, Josh Dix, 16 points.
They had two guys that made made 5 threes.
Dix was the main bench player I was looking at, averaging less than 7 on the year, like 6.9 points. These bench players are having career highs against Nebraska. They've done a good job of taking away that number one option, like I said. And that is good game planning, and I will give them credit for that. But at some point, those number one guys are going to get theirs. You can't completely shut down a guy like Jameer Young, AJ Storr, Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Boo Boo, he had a really bad day, but you play him again, he's not going to have that rough of a performance, which is, when we get to that Northwestern game, that's going to be another guy that they're going to have to try to shut down. But what's happening is we're seeing them put so much effort into guarding these number one guys that it kind of falls off the rails from the bench.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching the Purdue game, this is why when before the Northwestern win at home, which, I mean, that was a good win, but it wasn't like a really, really great win.
No.
But it was a good
solid win.
I was feeling like the Purdue game was more fluky than like what Nebraska actually was. And Purdue, and it was just because, Nebraska just threw everything at Edey to stop him. And they were just crossing their fingers, praying that nobody else beats them.
Mm-hmm.
It worked against Purdue, but it hasn't been working against a lot of these other teams. I get the home and away thing is a really big deal because on the road, Nebraska just really hasn't given themselves a chance to win.
And that's why I'm excited for Thursday to see if that is actually a trend of is it bench players on the road specifically?
It might be. I mean, because it's not only that these bench players are going off, it's Nebraska's turning the ball over a lot. They can't rebound. Those have been the two, if you look at every road game they've lost, it hasn't been really that they've been shooting bad. That's kind of how I was feeling at the beginning of the year, but they've shot well. They shot well against Maryland, still lost. It's just
it's been the turnovers.
It's been the turnovers mainly, and also rebounding, especially against Rutgers. Against Maryland, the rebounding was also tough. So am also this Wisconsin game is really interesting to me because even if they just keep it close, it's making me not feel like the Purdue game is fluky. Because right now, the Purdue game seems kind of fluky to me.
It's hard to know because they haven't played a team to that caliber yet. And so playing Wisconsin and Illinois back-to-back, we're going to really learn how competitive this team actually is. But yeah, it's so hard. At what point are you freeing up these guys who are just waiting for their opportunity to get wide open at behind the three and just give them the juice that they need? And that's what we've seen. We saw it against Maryland. I'm concerned about Wisconsin. I'll touch on a couple guys in a bit here, but guys that have a chance to go have one of those nights where they hit 4 or 5 threes and Nebraska can't do anything about it. We'll see if that's a road thing or a home thing. I'm really interested to see what happens here.
Yeah. Well, we're going to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to really specifically touch on the Wisconsin game, the players, and then we'll get some NFL talk in the next segment. All that and more right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to the Daily Nebraskan Show.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with 4 Lincoln locations, but now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
To the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben and Joseph still here with you. Even though it's late at night, we're staying up with you. We're giving you all the men's basketball talk right now. We're going to finish out our thoughts because we really want to get specifically into this Wisconsin game and what we're going to expect. I'm feeling pretty strongly about the game because I feel like Keisei Tominaga is going to have a really strong night. But can you kind of preview the Wisconsin team more?
Yeah. First of all, you're gonna jinx him. I already know it.
No,
he's gonna have another stinker.
No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be historic.
So this Wisconsin team, like I mentioned earlier, AJ Storr is the lifeblood of the scoring. You know, he's leading the team with 16 points per game. But it's a very balanced offense that has so many weapons for Chucky Hepburn, Bell West's finest, which I'm excited for this. Last year I was at the game when Chucky came back, and it was entertaining to say the least. Like, the student section clearly not happy with him for choosing Wisconsin over. Not that he would have taken Nebraska anyway. Why would you come to Nebraska if you're, a top recruit, even if you're from there?
I mean, we just never had success. Nebraska.
Exactly. So, but it's still fun when these Nebraska guys come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So Chucky Hepburn has been able to facilitate the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I talked about in the first segment, my concern is guys outside of that number one scoring option. So AJ Storr is going to get his. He's gonna score points. Last time they played, he only had 10, but still, a valuable part of that win. Connor Sejan went off out of nowhere and still really hasn't lived up to that billing that we saw of him in Nebraska. We saw what he can do off the bench. If I'm Nebraska, I'm worried about Max Klesma in this game. He has been on a heater, Ben. And when I mean heater, we'll ignore Michigan State because that was kind of AJ Storr game. AJ Storr had 28 points, not a lot to go around. And Max Klesma had a rough shooting night. He's only averaging 10 point. I say only. He's averaging 10.6 points per game. But over the last month, in the month of January, since they played Nebraska, he's averaging 16. So he's boosted his points per game total by 16. About a week and a half stretch of 18 points, 24 points, 10 points, 26 points, while shooting 17 of 25 from three. Wow. If that doesn't sound like a guy that's going to go berserk against Nebraska's defense, I don't know what does. Now, normally it's been a bench guy. Klesman's not a bench guy. He's in the starting rotation.
Yeah.
68% over a 5-game stretch.
That's crazy.
That is a concern if I'm Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen it time and time again of guys that have the potential to shoot it from deep. You put all the pressure on a guy like Storr, and it doesn't work out. So Klesma is my guy to watch for if you're watching, from a Nebraska perspective of like, hey, who's going to go off from three? Because it happens every time. Now we'll see if it's a road game thing, if it's a home game thing. Who knows? If I'm Nebraska, I'm more confident in your ability to defend the three at home because it's been that way.
Yeah.
So this game isn't on the road. Still a guy that's going to shoot the lights out. He's been doing it for the last month. I don't know why that would change.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like Wisconsin's going to come in and, they're not going to shoot below 30% and just put up a stinker. They're a really good shooting team. But I mean, again, they are traveling to Nebraska. I feel like a lot of teams, when they've traveled to Nebraska, haven't shot the ball too well coming in. The big reason Nebraska was able, probably their second best win at home, which was Northwestern. The reason they were able to win that game is because Northwestern went kind of cold in that second half.
Mm-hmm.
And Tominaga hit the dagger. That was great. But I feel like teams haven't shot that well at PBA. So I feel like Wisconsin, instead of, shooting like they did at their home tour when it was like high 40s, 50%, it might be, just
it was 50%.
Like 36 to 38% from three. That's manageable for Nebraska. If Wisconsin's only shooting like 36% from the 3-point line, they have a real shot to win that game.
No, 100%. And Wisconsin's actually the worst team statistically in the Big Ten of defending the perimeter.
Yeah, which should make Husker fans feel good just because Nebraska takes so many threes. They only had 2 made in the first half against Maryland. They only had 2 shots made within the 3-point line.
In the first half. If the threes are falling, I feel very strong about Nebraska's chance to win this game.
Yeah.
Just because Wisconsin's going to regress to the mean a little bit. They're not going to have that kind of performance they did at home, where they just are shooting shots up and hitting.
Everything's falling.
I was even listening to a couple of, at that post game, a couple of the Wisconsin broadcaster guys talking about they shot the ball too much. And for some reason it was going in.
Yeah.
But you can't repeat that kind of effort, especially on the road. But like I said, Chucky Hepburn, he's really found his role this year, and a lot of the pressure has been taken off of him, and it's really helped out. Last season, he was having games where he was shooting up 15, 16, even 21 shots against Nebraska. Granted, it was an overtime game. But he was really, forced to shoot the ball a ton because they didn't have a lot of production otherwise. He's had a more distributor role this year. It's only around like 6 to 8 shots per game. but he's averaging 4 assists. He's bumped that up from last year. So a big part of the success of this team is that he hasn't had to be the guy as much as he has in the past. And, he's still playing the same amount of minutes. Like he's literally it's like 31.8 minutes per game. Last year it was like 32. So he's still playing the same amount of minutes, not shooting the ball as much, passing it a lot more, finding the open guy a lot more. And it's really contributed to the success of this team, been able to slow it down. Like we talked about, they're a slow paced team, except when they play Nebraska, facilitate the offense. And that's been beneficial to them. And then we got to talk about the forwards. Stephen Crowell and Tyler Wall, pillars of this program for 4 and 5 years now. This is another concern if I'm Nebraska, because you've had issues rebounding the ball. Wisconsin, those two guys averaging 13 rebounds per game together. And they're both averaging about 12 points per game. So they do similar production-wise, scoring and rebounding. Crowell's, the taller guy, so he's got, a little bit of an edge on the rebounding front. Last time they had 15 combined rebounds, and they contribute to allowing the fewest opponent rebounds in the Big Ten. Now, I don't know if you watch much Husker basketball this season, Ben, but
I've watched quite a bit.
They do not rebound the ball great.
No.
At times.
They're an undersized team.
And when they don't, they lose. And when they rebound well, they win. It's pretty, when you boil it down to that, it's pretty simple.
No, the reason 90% of the time when Nebraska loses, it's because they A, turn the ball over a lot, and B, aren't rebounding. I mean, a lot of the times, like when I was early in the season, I was like, 3-point percentage. I don't even feel like 3-point percentage. If you shoot a stinker against like Iowa when they just couldn't hit anything, yes. But like the main reason has been turnovers and rebounding. So for this game, before we go into NFL talk, because you need to get that in, I want to ask, like we did before last game, who is going to be your X factor for Nebraska in this game?
Okay, so I was prepared for this question this time.
All
So I
right.
figured you were going to ask it. I kind of cheated. I have 2. I'm going back to the Wilcher well.
He was like the only solid player for them last time.
I can't not.
He
needs to shoot. He needs to get more opportunities. And I know the bench role has been great for him, but he needs to get more shots. Maryland, that was really the only shining star in that game.
Yeah, he was the only player that got double-digit points for Nebraska, I'm pretty sure.
Only shot it 7 times, though.
Which is,
and hit 5 of them, I believe. So he's got to get more looks.
He can do a lot with a little.
So that's kind of cheating, because I would say that every week at this point, just of the month that he's had. And, he's had double-digit points in 4 straight games off the bench. I'd say we're going to know tomorrow, I assume, about the status of Gary.
Yeah.
Hoiberg's going to talk to the media tomorrow. If he doesn't go, I'm going Alec here. I think Mass definitely matches up with Crowell better than some of the more athletic centers that he's faced in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Specifically last week with Julian Reese, who was just bouncy and all over the place. And every time he threw it down, just flexing and screaming, which I thought was hilarious. So he definitely matches up with Crowell more, just like he matched up with Edey pretty well. Taller, slower, less athletic guy. But with Wall there to play off of with Crowell, you're going to have some rebounding production. And I think Alec, it's going to have to be one of those days where he's just, very physical, getting in there, grabbing the ball. Because if they don't rebound well, there's no chance this team wins, because Wisconsin does it better than most.
Yeah. So I'm not going to cheat like you, so I'm not going to give 2. But I'm going to give I'm just going to mention if Mass scores, if Mass only scores 5 points again, Nebraska has no shot. He needs to have a solid game. He needs to score. He doesn't need to be scoring 34 like he did against Ohio State, but he needs 15, 12 to 15 in my opinion. I said it before. My X factor is Keisei Tominaga, because he's got to be hitting from deep. Because when they beat Purdue, their best win of the season, it was because Keisei was hitting. If Keisei's not hitting, I'm just not feeling confident unless everybody else is hitting, which is what happened against Ohio State. So it can happen, 100%. But it's more likely that Keisei has a strong
Wisconsin's a little bit of a better team than Ohio State.
Which, yes. So that's what I'm saying. So if Keisei doesn't have he has to get it going. Because I just 100%. I don't feel like Nebraska is going to be able to. I don't feel like their defense is going to. They need Keisei to just go off on offense, because their defense isn't going to be able to hold them down enough, in my opinion. Right. If you know what I mean, the defense isn't good enough to where our offense can have a subpar game. They have to have a great game.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, it is dependent on if Gary can go.
Yeah.
You know, for his sake, I'm sure he would love to. We know how much he loves playing at home and hyping up the crowd.
I really feel like Hoiberg is just waiting for him to be 100% because he knows even if they lose this game, it's not season ending. You know, if this was like end of the season or Big Ten tournament, I feel like Gary would be playing right now.
Yeah.
I feel like he's being really cautious with him because Hoiberg knows that Nebraska, while they're on a little bit of a skid, they're still in a pretty good spot.
I agree. But 100% on Tominaga there. Really, arguably his worst. He's had less points than he did last season, or last game. But 3 of 10.
It was his roughest game.
3 of 10 with some really, really, really ugly shots. Got to fix that going forward. And hey, top 10 team at PBA, sure to be a Thursday night, going to be a great crowd.
Last time that
students
happened,
are on campus.
Yeah, last time that happened, it was Purdue, and Nebraska didn't even have the student section.
No,
so I'm feeling pretty.
The odds on Nebraska student section just terrorizing Chucky Hepburn the whole game is very high.
I mean, I'm feeling way better about this game than I was against than I was about the Purdue game.
Okay,
and Nebraska.
I feel like it would be like them to lose to Maryland and then go home and beat Wisconsin.
Yeah, see, it's just such a Nebraska thing to do. It just has to happen. I want to get some NFL talk. Before we go in, so we have Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl. Was that the Super Bowl you were expecting? Just real quick.
That is the Super Bowl I was expecting. It was not the Super Bowl I was rooting for. It was the opposite of the
that's
Super
like
Bowl.
everybody. I think that's what everyone has said. So enough said with that. When I saw the Chiefs one, I was just going for the Lions because I wanted Taylor Swift against Eminem.
That would have been fun.
Because then they would have had to both perform in the Super Bowl halftime show. Just like one song.
I wouldn't put it past her that she comes out on stage at the halftime show surprise song.
Okay.
Think of the Twitter views.
Okay.
The Instagram views.
Okay, real quick. Did you see how much money the NFL has made
100%.
by showing Taylor Swift? What was it? $340 million? Just by
if you're a social media intern, it is a gold mine. And respect to them. I think people's issue with it is a lot of people have brought up the tag like, oh, you don't like Taylor Swift in sports. That's not a lot of people's issue. I just don't like the Chiefs. So if Taylor Swift was dating Sam Laporta, I'd be all for it. But it's because Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have been terrorizing my division, my league.
You're a Chargers fan, so it makes sense.
But they've been terrorizing league for years, and now they're even more famous? Come on.
I mean, I don't get why. It's like some NFL fans don't understand why the NFL is showing Taylor Swift this much. It's because they're making so much money doing
100%.
it. Like,
why would you not?
They would be dumb to not be showing her at every moment.
It creates storylines. It creates, talking points. It's fun. It's interesting. I just wish she was dating Sam Laporta or Mark Andrews instead and not Travis Kelce because
So a lot of people were rooting against the Chiefs because of that. We've seen all the social media edits saying Lamar Jackson was the NFL's last hope. Now it's Brock Purdy. I
love Brock Purdy, man.
Okay.
I love him.
That's a little strong, but
I love him.
So Chiefs 49ers, real quick, who do you got in that game?
Chiefs. I will never pick against Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs the entire playoffs, and I hate it because the Chiefs have terrorized my division for years, and I will never get over the fact that they have ruined my childhood. But they'll win the Super Bowl.
Okay. It's okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Mahomes goes on to win 3 more. I said they're done for when Tyreek Hill left. I'll probably say they're done for when Travis Kelce retires and Andy Reid retires, and Mahomes will go on to win 4 more Super Bowls, and I'll never see my team win a playoff game. So,
hey, you guys got Harbaugh. You're in pretty good shape.
Oh, yeah.
In 3 years, you guys will have a pretty solid team.
That's the last time the Chiefs beat a Harbaugh brother coach team, by the way. Just saying.
That is not true. But so I have 49ers just because they're uber talented, in my opinion. Brock Purdy just has to have an okay game. Like, he doesn't. I just feel like the 49ers are top to bottom or a better team. The only thing the Chiefs really have way over the 49ers in is the quarterback position. Then again, that is the most important position in football. But all Brock Purdy has to do is just not put up a stinker of a performance, and he'll be fine.
I love Brock Purdy.
He's okay. So
I love him.
I want to talk, but before the Super Bowl, it's Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
And since last year, it's Pro Bowl games.
Yeah.
So
not a fan.
Spoiler alert. Not a fan. So why? I mean, I'm okay with it because I just nobody cared about the NFC versus AFC game. Nobody cared about that.
I did, Ben. I cared about it.
Okay, well, you were like the small population of people that actually
Here's
cared.
my thing. I
Okay.
loved seeing all the different helmets. I thought that was the coolest thing. And now they don't wear helmets, and I'm sad.
Oh, so it's just the helmet.
It's really the helmets. I loved seeing like the offensive line was like Ravens, Colts. It was never Chargers because the offensive linemen have never been. Well, that's
You have
not true.
Slater.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the Pro Bowl when there were helmets. But just like you'd see like Ravens, Colts, like Bronco, like, and then
Yeah.
you'd have the quarterback, and there was a year where it was like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Phillip Rivers, and it just made my heart happy. And now we don't have that. I get it, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's cool, I guess, to watch them play flag football. I wish they blocked. I wish it was like our intramural flag football where there were offensive linemen. Because like, what does an offensive lineman do in a flag football game if they can't block? So like, what's the point of making a Pro Bowl if you can't play in it? That's my opinion.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, it's a little weird. I mean, I feel like the main reason they went away from it was because NFL wasn't
players
getting
don't
that.
want to play in it.
One, they didn't want to play in it. And I feel like NFL is kind of doing what the NBA did, where NBA kind of adjusted their All-Star game to get more viewership. I feel like the viewership is the main thing. I don't feel like the NFL cares about what the players care about at all.
Is the viewership any better though?
I feel like
I'm not.
I mean, I think they're
I'll
just
watch it
experimenting.
because I'm a football sicko. But
I think they're just experimenting with it. I think they know that the viewership's not good.
I like that it's in Orlando. I didn't love the Vegas. I felt like the Pro Bowl should be outside.
Well, the Super Bowl's in Vegas now.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl being inside is fine. I just feel like the Pro Bowl I liked it when it was in Hawaii. I like that more. I don't know. Call me a traditionalist. I don't know.
Yeah, so I feel like they're just experimenting because NBA experimented. They switched to their like where you draft teams. They're going back to the East versus West because apparently it must have not been doing well. Whoever at the top making those decisions, they're switching it back to normal format. I feel like NFL is kind of wanting to. I feel like for NFL, there's more risk of injury stuff with NFL than NBA.
That would suck.
Because NBA is like, I get it's basketball. There's still a lot of injuries that happen, but like they're not basketball. They're kind of just.
If you sustain an injury in a Pro Bowl, that would make me mad and never want to play in one again. I get it.
In NBA, they're just kind of chucking up threes. They're probably not going to get hurt. NFL, like there's actually some tackling.
Well, they've changed it so many times. They've done like the coaches draft. They've done like the legends draft. They've done it in Orlando and Las Vegas and Hawaii. And like, it's like,
it's a good idea. Like you would think, oh man, this is all the best players in the league. You think everybody would want to watch it, but just no one cares because the players don't care. And that's the main thing because you could tell that the players don't care. Like in the NBA, I know we're going a little bit away from NFL, but like the NBA, like when the East and West used to be like, like one idea that my dad has always thrown out about NBA East versus West that I completely agree with is whoever wins the East versus West for the All-Star game, that team, like in their division, like, so if let's say the Eastern Conference team, the Eastern Conference wins the All-Star game, whoever's the Eastern Conference team in the NBA Finals gets home court advantage.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that how they used to do it in the MLB? I don't know if they still do it.
I think it is.
Okay.
So it's like, because then players would actually try.
Yeah, but then it's like, if they don't even play, like the finals guys don't play, and if the guys that make the finals don't play in the All-Star game, it's like, well, thanks East West. I actually like the draft in the NBA. I like Team LeBron versus Team Giannis. Aren't they going away from that though? Sorry, we're getting way off track.
No, yeah. I think they're going away from it. They're going back to East versus West. I feel like they were doing it because the Eastern Conference was just so underwhelming compared to the West.
Yeah.
Because the West was just so dominant. East has kind of caught back up.
Yeah, NBA is just such a star-driven league, though, where it's like the All-Star game makes sense because like it's the big stars. It's like with the NFL, it's like half those guys, like the offensive linemen, half the people who are watching the game don't know unless you actually watch football. Like regular, you're not going to know all the offensive linemen.
And the people that don't watch it regularly aren't even watching the Pro Bowl.
They're not because it's flag football.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably still watch some of it. It intrigues me a little bit, but I feel like it's just because the Pro Bowl is a popularity contest. That's what annoys me about it. Because
really, I like the popularity contest. I don't want to watch I don't want to watch Gardner Minshew in the Pro Bowl. Like, did you see that? He's in the Pro Bowl now. Gardner Minshew's in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, it should be whoever was the best during the season. And it's not that. It's just who's the most. I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit. Tua made Pro Bowl. He's not, one of the most popular.
I think he's the starter.
Yeah. So he's not one of the most popular quarterbacks. So, I mean, sometimes it's not, but like, a lot of times it's like, really, this guy made over this guy when it's just because of his name. It's just like.
Yeah. Mac Jones grittying in the end zone kind of ruined that for me. So
Yeah, Mac Jones. The fact that Mac Jones ever made a Pro Bowl is just why the Pro Bowl is never going to be popular. But we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to have one more segment left, and we're just going to finish up with some softball talk. They're ranked in the polls, so we're going to touch on that.
So fun this year.
Oh yeah, we're going to touch on that when we come back from break. You're listening to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's not just the big game everyone looks forward to, it's the food. If you're hosting a super party, let Hog Wild Pit Barbecue do the cooking so you can cheer on your favorite team. Slow smoked ribs, beef brisket, pulled pork, hot links, and so much more. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give John Henry's a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
Are you looking for a new spot to relax and unwind? The Post, located on the south side of the Telegraph District on the corner of 20th and N Street, is perfect for a group hangout or a relaxing evening. The Post has plenty of exciting events open to the public, like Whiskey Wednesday and poker tournaments on Sundays. Looking for a spot for a private event? Ask them about their indoor patio. The Post, located at 20th and N Street in Lincoln.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street, family owned and operated, always the best value.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We're on our last segment. It's going to be pretty short, only like 5 minutes. But, you know, we still have softball we want to talk about. They are ranked in the poll. I still haven't gotten the email pulled up. If you have it pulled up.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different polls.
Yeah.
D1 softball, they're 13th. Softball America, they're 15th. ESPN.com, USA Softball, they're 17th. And then the NFCA poll, they're 18th. So like within that 13 to 18 range pretty much is the industry standard at this point. Shout out the Nebraska Athletic department for giving us all that information. I'm so excited for softball this season. We're going to, start figuring out we're going to finalize our spring beats here within the next week. And I think softball this season is going to change the game a lot. Like
it's going to probably be more popular than baseball.
Right. And just thinking about this for obviously from the fan perspective, Nebraska softball is going to be fun to watch, follow, and Jordy Ball does that. She is that big star that you need. And
she's on the player of the year watch.
Yep.
Only in the Big Ten.
Only player in the Big Ten on the preseason watch list.
Yeah.
Nebraska is the highest Big Ten team in any of those polls. Northwestern's really the only one that comes close. I just, from my brain works in sports editor mode. From a sports editor perspective, this is so exciting because it's a sport that you get a lot of access to.
Yeah.
That you don't normally get with this big of stars. Jordy Ball is going to be drawing headlines in the spring. It's already been that way. And with softball, you don't have to jump through the same hoops as you do with football and volleyball and men's basketball because it traditionally hasn't been as popular. This spring, our beat writers who, my second beat was on softball. I know yours was that your second beat as well?
Yeah, softball second full time.
You're a very new writer.
It was fun beat to watch. It was fun.
You get a lot of access
because the team was good last year, and they're going to be even better this year.
They've been, my freshman year they won the Big Ten, and it was awesome. They won 12 games straight.
Yeah,
and I got to talk to the players just face to face. Didn't have to sit in a press conference.
Yeah,
didn't have to. You get to. It's so much more personal when you just get to go down to the field and chat with the players and chat with coach, and they're so fun. They have such a good energy.
Yeah,
Coach Ravel just brings so much life to that program. And I, as a journalist, we're covering it, from the, the unbiased perspective, but just, you can't help but feel just happy for that team when they find success, just because of, how many big personalities are on that team. I know Billy Andrews as well. She is, number 42 overall player, according to D1 softball going into the season. Number 6 shortstop, according to Softball America. She's so fun. She's a very infectious energy as well. And I'm just excited to have our writers just chat with Jordy Ball and after the games because she's going to be pitching in almost all of them.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also softball's bigger than gymnastics and stuff like that. But when you talk to these other sports that are not football, volleyball, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like they actually like enjoy you asking questions.
Oh yeah.
It's not like, like football, sometimes it seems like a chore to the players.
Football for sure.
It sometimes seems like a chore to them, but it's like they really enjoy that you're taking time to one, show interest in what they're doing, but also putting their name out there and giving them publicity, because that's what they
100%.
want. That's what they want.
I love it for them just to be able to get the recognition that they deserve.
Because they deserve it.
And I think so often, especially with Nebraska, because we are such a big sports school, some of the smaller sports fall down the line.
It's just because football just dominates.
Exactly. And volleyball is so big as well. And this season with basketball. And it's just refreshing to sometimes just get these personal and one-on-one interactions with an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of fun to cover. It's a lot of fun to watch. I know, like, I was talking to a writer up at Northwestern, and they have like women's field hockey, which we don't have. I kind of wish we did. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But just like these sports that don't always exist at a professional level, where college is sometimes the height of an athlete's performance, and it's just so awesome to see them at that level. And I'm glad that softball is going to get the recognition they deserve, because they have been incredible over the last 2 years. Jordy Ball's taking them over the top. Can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, they were really good last year. Kind of towards the end of the year fell off a little bit, but they're going to be so much fun to watch this year. Ball,
100%.
I mean, all the personalities on the team, like you said, it's so fun. I can't wait.
Culture is great.
Because I mean, this is probably going to be the first time with the women's sport, like the counterpart, women's team is probably going to be more popular than the men's team, and they should be, because they're going to be the better team.
Probably.
Baseball, I don't have much hope, but with that, we're going to wrap things up here with the Day One Nebraskan Show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying up with us. With that, I'm Ben. He's Joseph. We're going to be out of here. Tomorrow, it's going to be me along with Anthony, and we're going to give the power rankings for basketball, and also probably talk some women's basketball, since it'll be after the game against Purdue. So with that, see ya.
Peace.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give John Henry's a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air. Go hog wild, pit barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
It's fishing season. Bad actors are trolling your business emails, luring you and your employees to take the bait and steal your private information. Make sure your cybersecurity keeps your business from being the catch of the day. At Hamilton, cybersecurity is our business. We are experts at keeping your network and business information secure and off the hook. Contact Hamilton for a vulnerability assessment today. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.